Paul McCartney, the enduring voice of the Beatles whose melodic genius has woven itself into the fabric of modern music, has never shied away from the complexities of his legendary friendships. In a candid recounting of a pivotal moment from the band's fractured aftermath, McCartney reveals his unlikely role as a romantic mediator, stepping into the emotional maelstrom of John Lennon's 1974 separation from Yoko Ono. This episode, set against the hazy backdrop of post-Beatles Los Angeles and the crisp restraint of London winters, highlights not just the fragility of love but the redemptive power of old bonds tested by time and turmoil. It's a story of reconciliation, where a former rival became a reluctant Cupid, bridging chasms carved by fame, ego, and heartache. The Beatles' dissolution in 1970 had left scars deeper than any chart-topping hit could heal. McCartney and Lennon, Liverpool lads who once harmonized dreams in smoky clubs, found their paths diverging like tributaries from a shared river. Legal battles over management, creative divergences, Lennon's avant-garde leanings clashing with McCartney's pop polish, and the relentless scrutiny of a dissolving empire bred resentments that simmered publicly. Songs like Lennon's biting "How Do You Sleep?" jabbed at McCartney's Wings ventures, while McCartney's Too Many People subtly chided Lennon's excesses. By 1973, their interactions were sparse, mediated by managers and mutual acquaintances, a far cry from the all-night jam sessions of yore. Yet, beneath the barbs lurked an unbreakable fraternal tether, forged in the crucible of shared triumphs and the quiet vulnerabilities of youth. Enter the marital rift between Lennon and Ono, a union as iconic as it was polarizing. Their love story, ignited in the conceptual art galleries of late 1960s London, had redefined partnership in the rock pantheon. Ono, the avant-garde artist whose experimental works challenged norms, brought intellectual fire to Lennon's raw charisma. Together they birthed conceptual albums like Double Fantasy and Bed-Ins for Peace that captivated the world. But by early 1974 cracks appeared. Lennon's immersion in LA's hedonistic scene, boozy nights with Harry Nilsson, flirtations with May Pang as his lost weekend companion, strained the telepathic connection he shared with Ono. She retreated to New York, tending to business ventures and inner reflections, while he spiraled in self-imposed exile, grappling with fatherhood to young Sean and the ghosts of Beatlemania. Ono, ever the strategist, sought counsel in the unlikeliest of places, the McCartneys' London home. In March 1974 she arrived unannounced, her presence a jolt to Paul and Linda, who were nesting in their Sussex farm with a brood of children and a burgeoning family band. Over tea in their cozy kitchen, surrounded by Linda's vegetarian cookbooks and Paul's scattered sheet music, Ono laid bare her turmoil. The separation, she confided, stemmed from irreconcilable drifts. His immersion in rock excess versus her disciplined artistry, compounded by the pressures of raising a child in the crosshairs of fame. Yet, love lingered, a stubborn ember amid the ashes. "I'll take him back," she told the McCartneys, her voice steady but eyes revealing vulnerability, "but only if he earns it, proves his commitment through action, not words." Linda, empathetic from her own trials in the spotlight, nodded supportively. Paul, sensing an opportunity to mend fences, felt a familiar pull, the same instinct that had coaxed harmonies from chaos. Seizing the moment, McCartney booked a flight to Los Angeles, the city of broken dreams and endless reinvention. Landing amid the palm-fringed sprawl, he navigated the Sunset Strip's temptations to reach Lennon's temporary lair, a rented bungalow where the air hung heavy with cigarette smoke and half-finished demos. Lennon, disheveled and defensive, greeted him with wary surprise. Their last encounter had crackled with unspoken grievances. Over stiff drinks, Paul nursing a ginger beer, John a whiskey sour, they circled the elephant in the room, the Beatles' bitter end. But McCartney, ever the diplomat, steered toward empathy. "I've come as a friend," he said, his Mirza lilt cutting through the tension, "not to rehash old fights but to talk about Yoko." Lennon's guard, brittle from isolation, began to crack as McCartney recounted Ono's visit. The raw honesty of her lingering affection, the conditions she set for reunion. The conversation deepened into the wee hours, unfolding on a balcony overlooking the twinkling grid of LA. McCartney sat Lennon down, his posture open, eyes locking in that old, intuitive gaze. "I feel like a matchmaker here," he admitted with a wry smile, diffusing the absurdity, "but Yoko still loves you. Do you still love her?" The question hung a precipice. Lennon's facade crumbled, tears welled as he whispered, "Yes. But I don't know what to do." Vulnerability poured forth, confessions of fear, regret over the lost weekend, terror at fatherhood's demands without Ono's steadying hand. McCartney listened without judgment, drawing on his own marital anchors with Linda, then delivered the nudge. Yoko came to see us in London. We've talked to her and she does still love you, but you're going to have to work your arse off to win her back. The words, laced with brotherly bluntness, ignited resolve. Lennon, the provocateur who once declared the Beatles more popular than Jesus, humbled himself to the task of redemption. What followed was a courtship reborn. Lennon returned to New York, shedding LA's excesses like a snakeskin. He wooed Ono with gestures both grand and intimate, handwritten letters echoing their early missives, collaborative art sessions that reignited creative sparks, quiet dinners where he bared his soul sans substances. Ono, true to her word, tested him, assigning tasks like co-parenting exercises with Sean, joint meditations that peeled back defenses. By summer, reconciliation bloomed. Their reunion, announced subtly through a joint statement, pulsed with renewed purpose. 9 months later, in October 1975, Sean Taro Ono Lennon entered the world, his cries heralding a family's rebirth. The event sealed their pact, inspiring Double Fantasy, an album of mature love songs that topped charts and healed public perceptions. McCartney's intervention, though pivotal, remained a footnote in Beatles lore until now, a testament to enduring loyalty amid rivalry. It underscores the man's character, the optimist who believes in second acts, the friend who intervenes when silence wounds deeper than words. In the decades since Lennon and McCartney's thaw deepened, their final 1980 phone call, warm with reconciliation, haunts as a what-if. Ono, reflecting later, credited Paul's nudge as the catalyst, a bridge from discord to harmony. For McCartney, now in his 80s, penning memoirs amid knighthoods and grandkids, it's a reminder of love's alchemy, how one conversation can realign stars. In an era of fleeting connections, this tale endures, proof that even fractured brotherhoods can mend hearts, turning splits into symphonies of return.